Hey, it's Lisa and Lisa's Attic. How are you today? I've had a few people ask me about spirit guides, and that's always a really touchy situation because, we always want to connect to our spirit guides. We want to have a name for them. We want to call them something. We want to have a relationship with them. And unfortunately, some of us don't get that. If you're Sylvia Brown, you had Fran. If you're Rosemary Altea, you had an Indian greet you every morning. But for the most of us, we get to hear voices or feel the presence of our spirit guides. I spent many years, probably 5 to 7, trying to figure out the name for my spirit guide and with no luck whatsoever. And I finally gave up because I read this book, Greetings from Home by Steve Arthur. It's a great book. And what he does is he channels the group. His spirit guides are called the group. And I thought to myself, wow, this author does it that way, such a generic name. Why can't I do the same thing? So I decided, since my spirit guides counsel me, I would call them counsel. And it's been like that for maybe 15, 20 years. I've been calling them the counsel. And when I did that, I felt like this aha moment where they were like, now you get it. And the reason I felt so good about it is because having that one bond is a very human thing. We want to call somebody something. We want to label things. But in this instance, by having a counsel, I'm able to access many different entities. The spirit guides really are your protectors, your guides, but they come from the source that is, from all that is. And they come down with different abilities. For instance, if you're cooking, maybe you don't want Shakespeare sitting there and, writing for you. You want someone, a great cook. Now, I taught myself how to do sushi, make sushi, by not Googling one recipe. I just listened and I made sushi. So the guides, the network of entities that are out there, are there to help you. And when you tap into them, you're able to do amazing things if you listen. Now, if you've seen my first 3 videos on your intuitive muscle, that's where I would tell you to start. You have to start there because hearing your guides and listening is so different from hearing your own voice in your head. It's very subtle, but there is a definite difference. And when you start your intuitive muscle and you start making that stronger, you'll know the difference between your thoughts and your spirit guides. Now, when you hear your spirit guides, you'll get an aha moment. And every time you get that little aha moment, it'll make you feel a little bit better. You'll be more confident. Okay, so for instance, how do you get an aha moment? Well, your spirit guides use you and try to communicate with you in ways of visions. They will drop little hints of information so that you could put a puzzle together. For instance, if you see someone in the street and you all of a sudden see that person but think of another person, and then you say to yourself, why did I think of my Aunt Rosie when I met this woman? What is the connection? There's always a connection, and you have to try to be aware of it. It comes all the time. They're constantly dropping hints, but we have to really learn to understand those hints and try to connect the dots. All right. For instance, for me, if I meet someone who has maybe a chemical substance abuse, depending on how extreme, I see tar all over them, very thick black tar. Now, they could be in a very fine state and not be at that time in using or, not obvious to everybody else, but I will see tar on them and I immediately know that they have some issues. Okay, but that's my symbol. What is your symbol? You have to work on that. Best way to work on that is to start a library of symbols and visions that mean something to you. When you see that vision or that symbol comes to you, you immediately know, okay, I'm on this path. This is what this person is like. Now, I believe John Edwards had like a rose, and every time he saw a red rose, that meant an anniversary. That's his symbol. It might not be your symbol. Red might mean something to you and totally something different from me. So you have to work on what is your symbol. Now, if someone is, for instance, if someone's very nervous and afraid of everything, we meet people like that. They're so afraid to come out of their box. They're so afraid of new ideas. I see a mouse around them, a little mouse that scurries right into their hole. Now, that's not a, mice are not bad. I mean, it's not, I want to make them such a negative thing because um, a mouse really does have very positive qualities too in the medicine wheel when you start to study that. But a frightened mouse that runs into its hole tells me that person is afraid of a lot of things. That's my symbol. And that's how your guides will talk to you. That's how they explain things. So if you're in a situation, you will then get symbols and visions and then go home and try to put them together. It's not always easy to do, but your intuitive muscle will start to get stronger and stronger as you maybe confirm, like maybe later on you found out that that person doesn't like to leave their house. Maybe they're agoraphobic. Maybe they're afraid. They're afraid of everything. Maybe they had something terrible happen to them. So that mouse would definitely mean that they were afraid. This goes on for a lot of things, and you could use your symbols to help you navigate. The best way to do is read. Read a lot. Read a lot of good books, spiritual books, and open your mind to possibilities. I am not saying that you should accept everything. I am the biggest skeptic and critic. I believe nothing until I've experienced it and I've seen it. And that's why I can say, okay, I've tried it, it worked for me, and this is what works for me, but you have to make your own road. And making symbols is a really good place to start. I would definitely recommend this book. He's just an amazing author. I love him. I love listening to his channelings and just very open and honest. So if you're looking to find your spirit guide, first start with your intuitive muscle. That's one. Watch the 3 videos I did with the cards down and learn to start that. Second, start getting better at scanning people. Look at a person. Look at them. Watch their body language. How do they look? What is the first thing that comes to your mind? And then go home, maybe just jot it down. You have your phone on, you just kind of as you're talking to them, just kind of write some adjectives that stuck out in your mind. And then later on, see if those adjectives, were really accurate. Another way you can do it is take a picture. You and your friends take pictures and get a picture of somebody that the other person knows and look at that picture and just study it. And then write down adjectives about that picture. And then your friend can confirm it. Yes, that's my Uncle Tony. And yes, he was, a great guy. Maybe he went to the casino a little bit too much. Maybe you get things like money, things gone, possessions. You just keep writing all these adjectives. That's the way your spirit guide talks to you. So for the many of us who don't have that one person, you have a huge council. So when you're doing something like cooking, you want a chef to help you make sushi like I do. When you're trying to write an important letter, you want, a great writer. And you don't have to call them by name. Just say, in the universe consciousness, I just need someone who writes well to come and help me. And if you really believe that, you will get someone on your council. Feel free to use the word council. I don't care. It works for me. Maybe it works for you. Use the group, you guys, your boys hanging out there. But the council also consists of people that have passed on. So my council has my brother. My brother will come to me and warn me. If I'm with somebody, he will definitely send visions of things that I need to worry about if someone's in, my area. And he will confirm it by playing certain songs on the radio that I know. It's just my aha moment. Everyone has them. You just have to build your aha moment. And once you do, you'll find that your spirit guides talk to you all day long. They talk to me all day long. They help me when I plant. They help me when I cook. They help me when I pick out colors to make different crocheted items. They help me to decide when's a good time to do certain things during the day, when it'll be more beneficial for me to start that project, when I should wait. It makes my life a lot easier. And they help me, I will say the most they help me in the kitchen. I have made dishes that are amazing, but my library for making something like maybe Indian food is not that good. So they haven't really been good. I haven't been able to move over to that yet because I haven't really experimented with those flavors. Once my library is there, once I've experimented maybe with more of those seasonings, then they would help me to make different dishes. So, increase your library, get some symbols, and listen. Listen with your eyes, listen with your ears. You actually can listen and hear at the same time. It's hard to explain, but it's like your spider senses all are heightened. You could feel, you could smell, you could see, you could hear, and it all comes into one big soup that seems to come around you. So for me, they are on the left side, maybe they're on your right side, but I always hear them here. I always feel like they're right next to me, maybe because that's how I was taught. If it works for you, use that. If not, that's fine too. If you have any questions, just write them below and I'd be happy to answer them. Maybe there's some more exercises I can give you, more stories if you like to hear. Let me know if you like this video and what you want me to address. All right. All of us really can speak to our spirit guides. It's not a bad thing. It's not a evil thing. I one time spoke to someone and she says, when you speak to those voices, it's really always a bad thing. I don't know, my sushi was delicious. My putting plants in the right spots where the sun should be, where they don't need the sun, things like that. I don't think that's ever bad, but that's up to you. I call it cheating. I feel like I got the answer key right here. I like using the answer key, So make your own answer key, make your own symbols, and let me know what you think about this video. From Lisa's Attic here today, I wish you lots of love and hugs and blessings. Namaste, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.